Across from me today, we have a Caroline. Just kind of want to jump right into the TLDR of your story, if you don't mind.
Okay, so basically, for the longest time, back like pre-transition, I definitely knew that I didn't like anything masculine because there was a lot of other stuff going on in my life and I didn't really have enough time to focus on my gender identity. So, around summer of eighth grade was when I started actually questioning things. And already around puberty, I had been pushing myself to where I did not have a masculine sounding voice. My voice would start to go deep. I don't want that. And I pushed it higher up an octave. And around summer of eighth grade, a friend and I were hanging out at a water park. I had expressed how, like, maybe I'm feminine or something. And she was like, oh, yeah, there's actually a thing for that. It's called being trans. And I started questioning it. Like, that's a thing you can do. I ended up choosing the name Carly, which then evolved into Caroline. Since then, I've been pressing myself to be more feminine. My grandparents were the ones to get me my first dress, which was really amazing. My parents themselves, well, I say parents, aunt and uncle that I live with, they act like it doesn't exist, but they still call me by my dead name. So it's interesting.
Okay, so your grandparents got you your dress. Are they still part of your life?
I don't see them often. We do talk occasionally because they moved down to Oregon.
I love to hear that. Some people from
Mm.
that generation. My grandma is super chill too. It's very rare to find grandparents like that, so you're very fortunate to have that support. How did your family take that?
My parents saw it as another phase because I had changed from gay to bisexual in about like a couple months. So they instantly saw it as, oh, this is another phase. It'll wear off in about a year. Here we are, 6 to 7 years later. The phase hasn't worn off. My mom, who is my aunt, I call her my mom because like a whole different Carly lore story, said that she will not call me by my proper name until I'm 25. Originally, she said 18. And then when I turned 18, I said, so are you going to start calling me this? She said, nope, 25. That's when the biological male mind is fully developed. Then you'll know. And I was like,
Sounds super
oh.
toxic. Not gonna lie. Goalpost be moving. What a bitch. No, I hope that's not offensive.
I've had my friends compare her to Kyle's mom from South Park.
Oh, geez. Okay, so I'm right to say so. They actually made a song about that. Your mom sounds like she's not very supportive. Your grandparents are, however. When did you realize that you were trans? It sounds like you realized this at a point where it wasn't necessarily as publicly known as it is today.
There was the bit at the water park where I first found out what it was.
Mhm.
And then I actually met someone who was trans mask at a summer camp. He educated me on everything. And I was like, oh, well, there's trans masculine. And then slowly started to realize, hey, there's trans feminine and all that. It was a very deep rabbit hole for me to suddenly realize. I've been actually raised to be homophobic a little bit. I had been playing this game. It was like a Simpsons app game. There was a Pride Month event, and I put down a rainbow flag because I thought it looked cool. I didn't know what it fully meant. My mom looks over my shoulder and went, you know that means being gay, right? In a disgusted voice, and I instantly deleted it. Like, pushed me to be kind of embarrassed about it. And of course, I slowly started pushing myself out of my own shell. Some more friends had also pushed me to be more confident in general. I've now gotten to the fact where people are actually saying they admire me for my confidence, which is weird. From being a kid who was so quiet, could hardly tell what she wanted to do, now being seen as this.
I mean, a lot of people won't admit that they were raised like that, but the fact is there is a lot of trans women out there, and even just gay individuals, that were raised in a homophobic family, were affected by those thoughts, and even further exacerbated those issues because of their insecurity of how they felt inside. You said HRT was a plan for the future. What are some things you've done to transition thus far?
So far, I have, like I said, repressing my voice ever going down and then doing a bit more voice training thanks to you and seeing your videos online. There was also buying myself breast forms, which are essentially like a silicone vest with augmented breasts on them. And I'd cut them down to where they were just the augmented breasts and I put them in a bra. That way they're held better and they don't hurt me as much. I've got those, which I had ordered on Amazon and came in, and my parents were mad at first and then they slowly just didn't care. I've bought some of my own dresses. I have like 4 now. Just coming out to everyone that I instantly meet. If I meet someone, I will introduce myself with pronouns and everything. And if they say, oh, but you look like this, I'll say, yeah, but I'm actually like trans and all that. And if they're like, oh, cool, then I'll still talk to them. If they're like a dick, I'll just say, okay, bye.
Yeah.
My school actually has a thing that we can do. We can put in a preferred name on our school account. So I instantly did that. And now in every single class, the teachers instantly see me as me.
So, what are some struggles you've experienced?
For my job, I work as a in-home caregiver. That is with the elderly. My mother, who works as a manager of a senior living facility, told me, oh yeah, it's going to be so hard for you to work and actually do things if you're like transwear and everything there. Clients are going to dislike you and everything, and there's going to be so much turmoil, so just don't. So I didn't. Now it's to the point where My job sees me as my dead name. I am a male to all my clients. If I try and do anything that sees differently, it's going to be super awkward, and I don't have the full confidence to do that yet.
Understandable. So was it a college that has that name deferral that you can use?
Yes. I'm in college for mechanical engineering just because I like to tinker a lot.
Very cool. What are some things you recommend to those that are not attaining HRT in regards to making themselves feel happier and more confident?
Recommend definitely try going for things online first, because that is the place where people will see you as your profile picture and the voice that you are showing. Or you could even go into a voice chat muted and just text. They will see you as the person you prefer to be. If you aren't confident with your voice or your appearance, go into a Discord server and introduce yourself as a name that you've been thinking up. Go from there. My first thing was Amino that I went and used my preferred name on. Everyone instantly saw me as a girl, and it felt really euphoric. That's how I officially knew. Start with online and go from there. If it's not something that you feel like, you can always just disconnect yourself from that persona. And if it is something you want to continue with, then go forward with it and see other avenues online where you can go through it and see if there's ways you can do it in your day-to-day life. If not, and you're in one of the countries or states that aren't the best with it, then just keep with the online persona. That is the best way to do it, and keep yourself semi-happy through it, because you can have your phone on you and check it, and you'll see someone refer to you as the name that you actually go by, and it'll brighten your day a little.
That's a solid. There's actually two pieces of advice and one with that. There's the trying to figure out yourself, and then there's the ultimately just feeling more confident. That's solid stuff right there. Well, you definitely seem like you have a lot of confidence, which is nice to see. What is it about your mindset that makes you feel as confident as you do?
Well, as I was telling you before we started the interview, the whole thing with Thomas the Tank Engine being a huge interest that I would push into everything as a kid, everyone would look down on me for it. They'd be like, why do you like a baby show? Why are you into talking trains? To where I got to the point where I didn't care about ridicule. So it was the same thing as when I came out and people started laughing at me like, oh, you're just a guy and you're confused. I just laugh it off because I was raised already being bullied constantly for something that wasn't normal or wasn't perceived as normal by the public. It is just that same thing of I've constantly just been able to push myself into that mindset of who cares what others think. I'm happy with it, and that's that.
Yeah, that's definitely huge. What are some situations in your way of getting HRT?
At the moment, I actually live with my parents, the ones that are iffy on everything. And my mom is a really big medical junkie in a way. From being a manager of an assisted living, she knows a lot of stuff about medical. So she likes to constantly push the fear factors in my face that it could be botched. There could be a botched surgery. The estrogen might not go well with my body. There's so many things that could go wrong, especially later on in life, to where it made me kind of scared to start it with her. But with my girlfriend, who lives all the way up in New York on the other side of the states from me, who is also trans and has started HRT, she's given me that boost to want to start it again, like I had before wanting to start it. When I move down there, I am going to start, because then I'm going to be away from my family, and the closest thing is going to be a call, and they see me that way over FaceTime, and I'll just say I don't care, and that's the end of that conversation.
Yeah, ultimately up to you for sure. I think it's astounding to see how confident and happy you are without starting HRT. You're definitely a proponent of someone that is able to live their life and not hold their breath. So I definitely think that's cool on your side for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Is there anything else about your story that you feel like you'd regret not having told us before we end this interview?
One more piece of advice that I want to give everyone is take any support that you're given, whether it be a school counselor, your friends boosting you up, or someone randomly saying, oh, could I do your makeup? That sounds so fun. Go with it. Everyone, unless they're being malicious about it, they're meaning it in something that's going to make you happy. Chase anything that will make you personally happy. Don't try and please others. Won't go anywhere.
Thank you so much for your time today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Caroline, this video will be recorded and uploaded to YouTube. Do you consent to that?
Yes, I do.